Hello everyone and welcome back to another Mirror Dungeon solo video. Today we'll be celebrating Christmas with the new Reindeer Rodya identity. With the exception of having an overwhelming amount of Christmas spirit, Rodya plays almost identically to the other reindeer. That being that she is a charged sinking identity who has the potential to end up joining the enemy team if she ever ends up attacking without enough charge. Apart from that, her charge gain is what I would call perfectly average. She builds charge with her skill 1 and 2, and then spends it with her skill 3 for a massive damage boost. However, her skill 3 is not the only one of her skills which can spend charge. If she has at least 8 charge when using her skill 2, she will consume 4 to inflict a single blunt fragility. This gives her slightly more utility than the other reindeer, as with it she can help by increasing the damage of her teammates instead of just being a pure DPS unit. For sinking, I'd say she's also pretty decent. Obviously nowhere near as good as the Knight of Despair, but serviceable enough for not being a Walpurgis identity. Only her skill 2 is count neutral and the rest are barely even negative, making it very easy for her to maintain a sinking stack even without the support from Echoes of the Manor. That plus the fact that she's Rodya means she always has access to Rhyme Shank, which alone gives her enough reason to be used in a sinking team. You do still need to be somewhat careful when using her, however, because in addition to her nature to start attacking indiscriminately, she is also capable of stacking up a fairly sizable amount of sinking on herself. Unlike for other identities who like to stack self-tremor or even burn, sinking in this case is purely a negative. She does not gain any benefits from it, as it is only there for if she ever uses one of her skills without enough charge or ends up losing a clash. So if you do end up accidentally triggering her friendly fire capabilities, it's not the only thing you need to worry about, because a single well-placed unbreakable coin could potentially end up with her in a corrosion. Anyway, to start the runoff, we take these starter buffs and find these ego gifts on the first floor of Drenched the Manor before making it to the boss against the butlers.
특이성 감지 센서 청소 타입 G 확인.
Alright, hello everyone, and welcome back to another Mirror Dungeon video, like always. Today we're using the brand new Christmas identity, Reindeer Rodya. Very cool. Project Moon seems to have a favorite R-Corp branch, I'll say that much, considering the fact that we literally have only gotten reindeers, basically. No rabbit since launch. Where's my rabbit Ryoshu? Yeah. She'll probably show up in the next Walpurgis. Or not the next one, but the next one, you know. Because it would have to be the library Walpurgis for it to be a rabbit. I guess technically they could make it so that the rabbits do show up for the Lobotomy Corporation Walpurgis, because they did exist there, you know. Miyu was a character in the original game, so technically speaking the rabbits could show up there. It's unlikely, but they could. But anyways, we're not here to talk about the rabbits. We're here to talk about Reindeer Rodya. It's very fun to say. I like that. One of the big things about this identity, specifically in comparison to the other reindeers, is something that somebody commented on I think it was my video on Reindeer Honglu, in that they were very disappointed with the fact that the reindeers never had their masks, but as you can clearly see, yeah, Rodya has her mask. It's a bit Christmassy, which is with the flashing colors, which is cool. I like that. So yeah, whoever that was, you got what you wanted, a reindeer with a mask. I personally never really cared about the whole mask thing, because it is cool. I do like the masks, but ultimately, it's if they don't have it, it's fine. It's whatever, right? The best part about the masks is the fact that it gives the voice filter over their dialogue. That's my favorite part about it. It's one of the reasons why, when I first started playing this game at launch, why my favorite identity instantly became Reindeer Heathcliff. Or not Reindeer, Rabbit Heathcliff, sorry. I have reindeers on my mind.
매우 효과적인 청소입니다.
But yeah, it was purely because of the voice filter that they get for having the masks.
키워드가 있음을 판단했습니다.
뭐 또 대단한 일이라도 하신 거겠죠?
방금 공격. 다음에 다른 개체 얘기도 다시 해봐줄래? 영상을 남기면 다른 직원에게도 도움이 될지도 몰라.
가끔 옛날 생각이 나곤 해. 나도 저럴 때가 칼 한 번 휘두르면 죄다.
뭘 하필 오늘 아무리 소속팀만 그 중에서도 우리 숙소만 이 작전에 투입되는 거야?
Oh my gosh, instant corrosion there. Wow. Couldn't really avoid that. It's definitely because of this identity's unique gimmick of, you know, having a lot of
엄청난 공격이었어.
self-sinking infliction. I don't think the other reindeers have that sort of thing going on. Maybe Honglu does. I don't remember. I don't think he does, though. Maybe a little bit.
모범적인 청소 방식을 확인했습니다. 인사부서에 해당 요원에 대한 평가를 성신합니다.
Okay, I just checked, and yes, technically speaking, Reindeer Honglu does have self-sinking, but instead of it just being something that happens like all the time, it's purely if his skill 2 fails to have enough charge for it to not gain the indiscriminate targeting. Whereas Rodya can gain it for all of her skills.
직접 고통을 안겨주는 거야.
징계팀 직원이라면 당연한 판단이긴 해. 잘했다는 칭찬은 생략하는 게 좋겠지?
로자, 직접 고통을 안겨주는 거야. 방금 어떻게 하신 거죠? 깜짝 놀랐어요. 직접 고통을 안겨주는 거야.
Man, if only we got corroded into a better ego than this one. Well, technically speaking, our other egos wouldn't have been any better because both of them are positive coins corrosion, so I guess technically that was probably the best ego we could have corroded into.
주변 전자기기나 좌석이 망가지지 않았는지 살펴봐 주시길 요청드립니다.
We head into emotional subservience for the next floor, where we find the manor-shaped music box, pendant of nostalgia, and bread order, before making it to the boss against the Drenched Gossypium.
승객들, 뭔가 기분 좋은 일이라도 있었던 거야?
Alright, scary fight here. Drenched Gossypium. Hate this guy. Oh, he does so much bleed damage. It's not even funny. And we don't really have any way to effectively counteract it because we're using a Rodya identity, which means we don't have, you know, Princess Rodya as an anti-bleed support passive. Very unfortunate. At least we can use, what's he called, Feng Hunt Honglu, to reduce the bleed a little bit that way, which is good. Silver lining.
무얼 잘못했는지 아는 것부터가 시작이랬어.
Still though, this bleed damage is the scariest. I probably shouldn't have used that skill 3 last turn, so that I would have had more charge to clash with this attack on this turn. Oh well, I did not think about that when I probably should have. Yeah, because we can't beat that clash anymore. And that's a lot of bleed damage. Holy, 24. That's 240 bleed damage. Yeah, okay. I needed to not use that skill 3. I need to save it to clash with that skill.
곧 위험한 공격이
Alright, we're back.
오겠지만
Same thing, except this time we actually have enough charge to clash with this attack.
당신이 제일 잘하는 일이잖아요.
Very cool. That should be enough to save us. Probably. I mean, who knows? These do a lot of damage, but then again, the Gossypium has an anti-stagger effect built in, so yeah. As long as it doesn't kill us or inflict enough bleed to do it to finish us off afterwards, we should be fine.
오늘은 제압이 빠르겠어요.
공격성 진단 장치에서
Still pretty scary. 13 over 6.
안내드립니다.
Can we stagger him this turn? Probably not. And now we do not have enough. We're lacking charge again. This is not going to be able to clash. What about this? No. Well, maybe. Rhyme Shank's the best, but then it makes us fatal to wrath damage. I think we just need to gamble with Hex Nail. Not really a whole lot else we can do here. And of course we lose instantly. Very cool game, very cool. I love you. Alright, we're back again. 21 over 6 minus 2 because of Fang Hung Lu. That is 80 damage-ish. 84. It's enough to survive. Okay. And now I made sure we had enough charge to do another skill 3 this time, so we should be good. Yeah, should be good. Hopefully. We have enough health, we have enough clash power. As long as we stagger the Gossypium here, which doesn't look very good with 2 missed coins on that skill 3. We're gonna have to retry again, aren't we? No, I think we have enough damage, barely. Thank goodness. Alright, difficult fight, difficult fight. Gossypium is scary, man. It really is. That bleed damage is no joke. It really isn't.
올바른 방법으로 세계 인격을 가했군. 이것이 바로
일부 위험 요소가 수출된 것을 감지했습니다. 정리 요원들의 노고에 감사드립니다.
언젠가 다시 재생하겠지.
We head into the Noon of Violet for the next floor, where we find Faith, Greycoat, Nebulizer, Hardship, Misaligned Transistor, Leaked Enkephalon, Mental Corruption Boosting Gas, Temporal Brittle, and the Book of Vengeance, before making it to the boss.
저건 아르카나의 스프레드에 분명 강한 암시가 걸린 걸 거야. 왜 하필 오늘?
Okay, here we go. Noon of Violet.
그중에서도 우리 숙소만 이 작전에 투입되는 거야?
Pretty chill floor, if I'm being completely honest. It's gonna be quite quick.
요즘 고민거리는 없어? 왜 하필 오늘?
I mean, just look at this. Like, we're fatal to envy damage right now, and yeah, we're already doing perfectly fine. These guys just aren't that threatening, if I'm being completely honest. I used to hype up this fight a whole lot because there is a chance, a very small chance, for it to be a kind of hard, considering the fact that the big obelisk at the final obstacle
지금 싸워보는 거야?
He does have an attack that is technically an insta-kill, but it only shows up like 5 turns after he shows up or something like that. 4 or 5 turns, I can't remember exactly, but point is, it's pretty easy to defeat him before he actually uses that attack. So yeah, I'm gonna just fast forward through most of this fight because it's kind of all the same, and meet you at the obelisk.
정답. 자, 선물도 줄게.
사실은 그렇게 대단한 일도 아니에요.
뭘 하필 오늘?
Okay, here we are at the obelisk.
그 중에서도 우리 숙소만 이 작전을 수행하는 거야?
Gonna be pretty easy fight if I'm being completely honest, because yeah, he's actually kind of weak to blunt damage. Which, you know, one thing that I kind of want to talk about is like
나라도 그랬을 거야.
the sort of what's it called? I forget the exact terminology.
우리만 충분하잖아.
Basically, why you would want to use this identity over, you know, the just strictly superior Knight of Despair Rodya. And to be honest, the answer to that question is blunt damage. That's basically it. If you need blunt damage instead of pierce damage, that's pretty much the only reason why you'd want to use this identity over Knight of Despair. Also, I guess there is the fact that, like, she's not a Walpurgis identity, so that gives her something going on for her, right? Makes her slightly easier to acquire. But yeah. It's basically just the damage type, because otherwise she's just inferior to Knight of Despair Rodya in pretty much every way. Well, then again, it's kind of hard to compete with literally one of the best identities in the entire game, so yeah. If you like the reindeers, or if you need blunt damage, she's your girl. Otherwise, stick with the knight. We head into Hatred and Despair for the next floor, where we find Rest, Spent Use Forming Hate, and the Knight's Blessing, before making it to the boss against the Knight of Despair. Speaking of the Knight of Despair, why don't we fight her? Prove that what I just said is completely wrong, and that reindeer is actually superior. In all honesty, this fight isn't going to be that difficult. Hi, Queenie. I love you.
열차 내 비상 상황 발생. 상황의 통제 가능성
But yeah, this fight.
감지. 이 상황은 인사부서에 통지되며
The only real difficult thing about this fight, now that we have both the Knight's Blessing and Faith, is the fact that, yeah, we are still fatal to gloom damage. But that's pretty easily fixed with just, you know, using an ego, which we're probably going to have to if we want to be able to survive the next turn. Because, yeah, we cannot clash against all of this. And these guys are absolutely going to stagger us a second time if we don't use an ego. Specifically because of that, yeah, blunt weakness. Or not blunt, gloom.
왜 하필 오늘 사물의 술록팀만 그 중에서도 우리 숙소만 이 작전에 투입되는 거야?
그래도 언제나 추월할 수는 없으니까.
그대로만 해주신다면 오늘은 제압이 빠르겠어요.
매우 효과적인 청소입니다. 워프 열차 연산 시스템은 해당 행동에
No,
약
Queenie.
14%의 정리 기여도가 있음을
Why can
판단합니다.
you never win any clashes? I love her though. She tries her best.
방금 전에는 굉장했다고. 정의보다도 푸른 자여, 사랑보다 붉은 자여.
I don't know if we actually have enough damage to destroy her one of her swords with only a skill 2. I believe though. I believe we do. If we don't, it doesn't really matter that much. Like you have enough time in this fight to be able to you know, fail to destroy one of the swords in a single turn. Like you can afford to let one of the swords be destroyed in 2 turns as opposed to only 1. Yeah, okay, so we do have enough damage, good. Seemed pretty close though, so.
운명 속에 파묻힌 그대의 이름을 걸고 나 여기서 빛을 맹세한다. 아까 했던 공격 덕에 한결 수월해진 것 같아요. 왜 하필 오늘 아무리 소녀팀만 그 중에서도 우리 숙소만 이 작전에 투입되는 거야? 우리 앞을 막는 증오스러운 존재들에게 나와 그대의 힘을 합쳐 위대한 사랑의 힘을 보여줄 것을!敵は深手を追っています。뭘 하필 오늘 아무리 숨었지만 그 중에서도 우리 숙소만 이 작전에 투입되는 거야? 아르카나 레이! 당신 그래도
있는 힘껏 찔러놓고 웃겨놨지만
We head into Thunder and Lightning for the next floor, where we find the Material Interference Force Field, Imposed Weight, Night Vision Goggles, Illusory Hunt, and Crushed Memory, before making it to the boss against the Shock Centipede.
적들이 뭔가 기분이 좋아 보이는 것 같아.
Alright, Shock Centipede. Easy fight. All of the fights on this floor are potentially easy, so that's not really saying much, if I'm being completely honest. But, you know, when the game offers you a piece of a relationship or any other tier 4 ego gifts like that, it's kind of hard to say no, unless you're looking for a specific floor. Centipede is always going to be an easy fight, though. Like, he just doesn't really do anything. I mean, the scariest thing he has is that second turn, right? But first of all, it is the second turn, so you have 2 skill slots to clash with.
응원도 가치 있는 걸 추구하는 고수아니겠습니까?
And second, it's like he only has 4 slots himself, so yeah, he doesn't do a whole lot of damage. So unless you're fatal to his attacks, Centipede's kind of a pushover. I mean, the worst part about the Centipede is the fact that he just, his whole like gimmick about him, you know, not actually dying when you kill him. It's kind of annoying because it has a few extra turns where it's like, yeah, I've already won at this point, you know. Why does it matter if he gets a few extra attacks off? It doesn't. But we gotta clash against them anyways. Even though it's actually kind of pointless to even clash against this at all, because like we get a full heal at the end of every fight, right? Or at the end of every floor. So as long as he doesn't reduce our sanity at all, which, you know, he shouldn't. Literally any damage he does at this point is basically non-existent.
완벽한 한방. 시원한 걸. 정답. 자, 선물도 줄게. 우리 편. 아무리 손목힘만 그 중에서도 우리 숙소만 이 작전에 투입되는 거야? 악당 퇴치 성공. 오늘도 정말 멋진 활약이었어.
We head into the heartbreaking for the next floor, where we find Piece of a Relationship, Imitative Generator, Rusty Commemorative Coin, an Extra Skill 3, Ornamental Horseshoe, and Angel's Cut, before making it to the boss against not Heathcliff.
특이성 감지 센서 청소 타입 G 확인.
Alright.
요원 여러분의 활력 징후가 높아짐이 확인됩니다.
Heathcliff 1v1. Very cool.
그 중에서도 우리 숙소만 이 작전에 투입되는 거야?
Gonna be a pretty easy fight, I think. I mean, being fatal to envy damage is not the greatest thing in the world here, but it doesn't really matter. I mean, we might get staggered once here at the start, but other than that, it's like we're just gonna kill him, you know? Once we stagger him, he just dies. And the bleed damage from the envy barrier, it's not gonna really do anything because we do have healing. So yeah, Heathcliff gets staggered here. We take out half his health bar. Profit.
적합한 관리법이었어요.
And the best part is, we did just barely not enough damage to be able to, you know, instantly knock him into his next envy, his next sin barrier. So yeah, full damage. Could take full advantage of the stagger without any downside. Very cool. Pretty easy fight. Like, here's the envy barrier, but it doesn't matter because we just kill him, you know?
완벽한 한발. 시원한 걸.
It does hurt a little bit, but any damage at this point doesn't matter because it's the final fight of the floor, so full health reset. Very cool.
내일도 꼭 불러주기야.
We head into Refraction Railway, Line 5 for the next floor, where we find the Blue Star Shard, Refraction Glass Pod, Finifugality, Clear Mirrorcom Water, and the Charge-type gloves, before making it to the boss against Section 3.
적 개체에게 이상 현상이 보이네요.
Alright, Section 3. Kind of a little bit awkward. What are these guys weak to? Pierce? And Wrath? Perfect.
왜 하필 오늘 사물이 술록팀만 그중에서도 우리 숙소만 이
This fight might be a little bit difficult, just because, you know, it is the second hardest section of, yeah, Line 5. At least in terms of the mirror dungeon. The Envy Pecatulum Section 2 is always going to be harder because, you know, it's the Envy Pecatulum, right? Having to face up against 6 different enemies all at once. Pretty tricky, I'd say. I think right now at the start we are definitely better off trying to ego spam, or not ego spam, but like these minions are definitely a very big problem right now, especially because we kind of made ourselves fatal by using this ego. But yeah, as long as we get them staggered, then we'll be able to stall long enough to gain enough skill slots for them to no longer be an issue. And then we can focus fully on Dulcinea.
곧 위험한 공격이 오겠지만 내버려 두세요.
왜 하필 오늘 사물이 술록팀만 그중에서도 우리 숙소만 이 작전에 투입되는 거야? 승객이 딱콩 한 방 먹였어.
Right, that's one thing I forgot.
먼저 끝내고 돌아오는 친구는 맛있는 거 사줄게.
Technically speaking,
회사 카드로.
the charge type batteries, or not the charge type the charge type gloves, they could technically speaking be considered a a debuff, funnily enough.
왜 하필 오늘
And it's because, you know, it doubles the amount of charge you consume for every single skill. And it's like it's not that big of a problem with this identity skill 3 specifically, because, you know, her skill 3 already consumes all of the charge count on herself to be able to use it. But for the skill 2 consumes 4 charge upon using it. So with the charge type gloves, that means it consumes 8, and it only actually gains like 6 charge count. So yeah, that's now a count negative attack instead of being positive. At least when you already have enough charge to be able to trigger that. It shouldn't really affect things though. It just means that I have to use a couple skill 1s here and there when I wouldn't normally need to otherwise, but yeah. It works out in the end because Greycoat healing. Helps to counteract the tons of bleed damage in this fight.
치명적인 손상을 입히는 데 성공했습니다. 앞으로의 전투도 이대로만 부탁드리겠습니다.
완벽한 한방 시원한 걸. 걷잡을 수 없을 만큼 나는 다른 선배들처럼 납작한 생각은 아무리 소용없지만 그중에서도 우리 숙소만 이 작전을 펼치는 거야? 저럴 때 선배였다면 지금까지 싸우면서
올바른 방법으로 개체에게 일격을 가했다. 이것이 바로 정보의 힘입니다.
어떨까? 느껴졌어? 내가
Okay, here we go.
너희를 위해서 주문을 외웠는데
The NV Pecatulum.
잘 걸린 것 같아.
These guys are honestly not that bad,
싸워보는 거야?
all things considered. And that's purely because they just, you know,
아무리 소용없지만
they're the second fight instead of the first.
되는 거야? 대성공이야. 가론 신나.
If they were the first fight, this section would actually be a lot more difficult, I think.
방금 어떻게 하신 거죠? 깜짝 놀랐어요.
Yeah, we're basically trying to one-shot all of them.
방금 멋졌어.
Doing a pretty good job of it too.
빛의 힘이 저 어둡고 악한 아르카나들을 비웃들었어.
We would have one-shot 4 of them, maybe even 5, if it wasn't for that one missed coin on Otis. But what can you do?
또 대단한
Gregor would have
일이라
survived
그대로
regardless.
믿으신다면
뭘 하필 우리가 착한 아이였다면 우리가 착한 아이였다면 빠졌을 텐데, 그치?
방금 청소를 수행한 요원께 W사 인재관리 부서에서
뭘 하필 오늘 아무리 소용없지만 그중에서도 우리 숙소만 이 작전에 투입되는 거야?
마땅한 벌을.
매우 효과적인 청소입니다. 워프 열차 연상 시스템은 해당 행동에 약 14%의 정리 기여도가 있음을 판단했습니다.
징계팀 직원이라면 당연한 판단이긴 해. 잘했다는 칭찬을 생략하는 게 좋겠지.
Ooh, the indiscriminate targeting actually helped us there. I mean, of course it did. Like, it's actually a good thing when you're soloing because it allows you to attack multiple people without any downside.
뭘 하필 오늘 아무리 소용없지만 그중에서도 우리 숙소만 이 작전에 투입되는 거야?
It's always a good thing in solo runs.
이것 봐. 환상체를 제압하는 건 우리만으로 충분하잖아.
네, 잘 들어갔네요. 크게 의미 있는 성과는 아니지만요.
이 목마름에서
아까 했던 공격 덕에 한결 수월해진 것 같아요.
Okay, planning. No planning, no thoughts. Head empty, just go.
뭘 하필 오늘 아무리 소용없지만 그중에서도 우리 숙소만 이 작전에 투입되는 거야? 적합한 관리법이었어요. 다행이에요.
This is the one situation where the self-syncing is actually an issue. It's against unbreakable coins. Still doesn't really have much of an impact because, you know, our clash power is just so high right now that it doesn't really matter, but even still, it is technically something that could pose an issue.
무얼 잘못했는지 아는 것부터가 시작이 됐어. 성탄절 장식 제압 개츠가 흔들리고 있어. 다들 조금만 더 힘내자.
I should save this, actually, and just go full NV attacks here to get... Oh wait, no, it's one per turn. Yeah. Lame. I was thinking like, oh yeah, we could get like a ton of extra blunt fragility applied here with all these skill 2s, but no, once per turn. Lame. Project Moon doesn't want us to have fun. I guess that's also why my whole thing about, you know, the charge up gloves being sort of bad doesn't really apply, because since it is only once per turn, that means that, yeah, the charge consumption also is only once per turn. So yeah, only one of the skill 2s consumes a lot of charge count, and then the rest consume none. So yeah, you see it like that? This is how you actually play her with the charge type gloves. You use the skill 2 first to apply the fragile, and then you can use every other skill 2 afterwards to just for actual charge gain.
입에서 갑자기 쓴맛이. 왜 하필 오늘 아무리 손놓기만.
Honestly, this is why the rose isn't that bad, right? Because if you play it right, you can like alternate the parts that get staggered, and so it like basically does no real damage. At least in my experience, that's why it's like not that hard. Can be difficult if you don't alternate the staggering like that, but it's usually not that difficult to do it anyways.
저것들은 언젠가 다시 재생하겠지.
We head into Refraction Railway, Line 4, Section 3 for the next floor, where we find Midwinter Nightmare, Lunar Memory, Eclipse of Scarlet Moths, Cigarette Holder, and Grandeur, before making it to the boss.
적들이 뭔가 기분이 좋아 보이는 것 같아.
Yeah, kind of a scary fight here. But what can you do, right? We simply don't have enough resources to be able to do anything properly. Or not really resources, but just, yeah, we couldn't get all of the ego gifts we wanted. And we just barely got Lunar Memory, which should be enough on its own to be able to make this fight not that bad. But still, kind of scary. As the envy Pekatulam always are. Yeah, I don't think we I think we didn't even stagger like any of them. Oh well, they're not doing that much damage, so it's fine. Just gotta be kind of careful. I think we have to use another ego here. Just because, yeah, it's kind of scary. Oh, that's unlucky. That might be game over. He rolled heads at -20 sanity. I think we get staggered here. And this is a real stagger. Oh, yep. Just barely. Rip. Cool. This time it killed. This time Scarlet Moths killed Marcel, which is perfect because now we don't need to use an ego. I mean, we probably will eventually, just for you know, to heal from Greycoat, but for right now, it's unnecessary.
방금 멋졌어. 너희들의 사랑의 힘이, 빛의 힘이 저 어둡고 악한 아르카나들을 뒤흔들었어.
We can take one of these attacks, right?
시간 문제겠지?
Probably Red Eyes.
뭘 하필 오늘 아무리 손놓지만 그 중에서도 우리 수초만이 작전을 투입되는 거야? 저렇게
Or maybe that killed him. I don't know who that actually targeted there. That might have killed Ryoshu.
완벽한 공격이었어.
Probably not, but yeah, Ryoshu's still alive. I see her in the background.
앞으로의 전투도 이대로만 부탁드리겠습니다.
우리가 대성공이야. 가론 신나. 노래 부를까?
헤세드 같은 놈들은 이 광경을 좀 봐야 해. 이 정도 전투 능력은 있어줘야지.
Oh my gosh, I'm so slow. This is bad. Holy. How did I roll minimum speed? It's because I don't have any haste. That's ridiculous. That is genuinely ridiculous. Like I kind of have to just ego spam here, don't I? Or tank Dimension Shredder. I think I have to tank Dimension Shredder because I can't clash with it. It's only Dimension Shredder though, it's not that bad of an ego.
매달고 불태우거라. 끝끝내 뼈조각 하나 남지 않도록.
And everyone dies. Very cool. Love that. Didn't even need the ego.
우와, 가름도 깜짝.
Well, the electric sheep is very, very easy of a fight, so yeah, victory lap basically. We're even gonna stagger him before he can even like do his intro attack. And I used to complain this guy had too much health. I don't know, maybe they nerfed his health. I think they might have, because I distinctly remember him having 10,000 health at some point.
다른 부서에 있는 애고까지 가져오길 잘했지. 적재적소했으니까 이만큼 효율적인 일도 없잖아.
내일도 꼭 불러주기야.
We head into Murder on the Warp Express for the next floor, where we find the discarded Dimensional Gauntlet, Distant Star, Melted Spring, Rags, E-Type Dimensional Dagger, Skeletal Crumbs, and Artistic Sense, before making it to the boss against Cassetti.
적 개체에게 이상 현상이 보이네요. 귀찮더라도 무시하면 안 될 거예요.
Alright, Reindeer versus the Blood Fiend who cannot eat blood because he doesn't have Blood Feast for some reason. I'm never letting that go. He should have had Blood Feast. I mean, seriously, every single other, like, low-level Blood Fiend also has Blood Feast in La Mancha Land, so why does Cassetti not get it, you know? Is it because he's starving to death on a warp train? Probably. It's the best explanation I can come up with.
앞으로의 전투도 이대로만 부탁드리겠습니다.
죄송해요. 잠시 어지러워서 못 봤어요.
Anyways, obviously we took this floor specifically so we could get
대단한 일이라도 하신 거겠죠?
the unique charge ego gifts, but I have been taking like a lot of breaks in between each floor of this run, so I kind of stopped like right when we came into this floor, and then when I came back I sort of forgot that was the whole reason we came here. So yeah, we didn't really pick up any of the unique charge ego gifts on this floor, even though we could have. Oh well, what can you do?
주머니로서 우월해지는 것인데. 괜찮다면 혹시 우리를 도와서 다음으로 소녀팀만 아니면서도 우리 숙소만 이거 도배를 자세히 오르면 필요하니까 내가 정말 한달 장식해 들어와 알록달록하게 아셔줄게. 그치? 완벽한 한발 시원한걸?
왕국의 주인 앞에 예를 갖춰라. 반역의 죄는 소형이 마땅하리라.
Cassetti, you're a fake ass blood fiend. Like seriously, where's your? He can't even eat blood that isn't his own blood, right? That's so gross, honestly. Like he's literally covering himself in his own blood.
네, 잘 들어갔네요. 크게 의미 있는 성과는 아니지만요.
Or at least that's what his status effects imply, because he doesn't have Blood Feast. God, why did they not give him Blood Feast? I know the answer, but still. Just because he didn't have it initially doesn't mean you can't give it to him when you redo his floor. We head into Miracle in District 20 for the final floor, where we find the huge gift sack and devil share before making it to the boss.
쟤네 고기라도 먹은 것처럼 기운이 솟잖아. 왜 하필 오늘?
You know, I never take this floor because it's ridiculously easy. I mean, come on, it's just a bunch of random gnomes. They're not that hard. But, like, when you're using the Christmas identity, you gotta kind of take the Christmas floor, you know what I mean? Just like how, if you use a Heathcliff identity, you have to pick the heartbreaking, right? It's sort of required.
왜 하필 오늘 사물의 술록팀만?
Unfortunately, we kind of suck right now because, yeah. We lose because we can't win a clash. Thanks, Rodya. I'll just let it play out. Why not, right?
직원들이 전멸했고
이러고 죽으면
이 장면을 똑똑히 기억해 관리자.
적 개체에게 이상 현상이 보이네요.
Perhaps this time we'll actually be luckier.
무시하면 안 될
왜
거예요.
하필 오늘 사물의 술록팀만?
Nope, doesn't look like it.
그 중에서도 우리 숙소만 이 작전에 투입되는 거야?
Oh well, doesn't matter. It's like, as long as we don't lose the clash in the next turn, it's fine.
여기다가 말하면 녹음되는 건가요? 힘내세요.
So to guarantee we don't, I'm gonna use 2 skill 3s.
사물의 술록팀만. 그 중에서
Completely overkill, but like,
방금
you saw what happened before.
너희들의 사랑의 힘이 빛의 힘이 저 어둡고 악한 아르카나들을 기운들었어. 이대로면 승리도 시간 문제겠지?
매우 효과적인 청소입니다. 워프 열차 연산 시스템은 해당 행동에 약 14%의 정리 기여도가 있음을 판단했습니다.
I should have put the gnomes on as the announcer. I completely forgot that they even existed.
캐세디 같은 놈들은 이 광경을 좀
Oh, that would have been
봐야 해.
perfect for this run.
환상체 가두고 에너지 짜는 회사에서
Oh, well.
능력은 있어줘야지.
I only thought about that just now. I never use them because I don't like them, but they would have been perfect.
와, 엄청난 공격이었어. 개념할 만한 걸.
죄송해요.
왜 하필 오늘 아무리 술렁지만
Anyway, I think after this turn, I'm just gonna skip right to Centata because, you know, the rest of the fight is just gonna play out exactly the same as this turn. Not really worth showing.
방금 어떻게 하신 거죠? 깜짝 놀랐어요. 우리가 대성공이야. 다른 신나. 노래도 우리가 착한 아이였다면. 좋아. 얼른 끝내고.
Alright, Centata. He's going to die in a single turn. That's gonna be fun.
왜 하필 오늘 아무리 술렁지만 그 중에서도 우리부터만 이 작전에 투입되는 거야?
Could call this fight Rudolph's Revenge. Rudolph Rodya versus Centata. She got pissed off that he disrespected her. She wants to be leading the sleigh.
저것들은 언젠가 다시 재생하겠지.
오, 생각보다 빨리 끝났는데? 너희들 아직 안 피곤하지? 얼른 복귀하면 살짝 식은 건 다시 데워 먹으면 되니까. 얼른 돌아가자. 그래도 아직 크리스마스 끝나기까지 3시간은 남았으니까.
And that's how we beat 10 floors of Mirror Dungeon 6 hard using only Reindeer Rodya. She's pretty strong, pretty simple, and just all around a good time if you enjoy attacking your own teammates. She's also reliable enough to never be a waste if you pick her, and when there is already a very clear superior choice to be had, that's all you can really ask for. Anyway, that's it for me. Like and subscribe for more videos like this one. Goodbye.